Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter.
This is our Grey's Anatomy reaction for season 16, episode 20. We are almost at the end of this season.
Yeah.
It does, I know this wasn't planned to be the end, but it actually does kind of feel like we're at a reasonable spot.
Right?
I think they mostly got kind of lucky with that. I mean, we'll have a separate video coming up previewing the finale, mostly because we have just so much stuff to get to within this episode itself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sad stuff that's going on, and
Oh, man, that scene with Richard by himself in the OR room about to cut himself, I'm telling you, it wrecked me.
That was rough. It was...
Wrecked me.
I mean, Richard's getting some great material, but I think the Grey's Anatomy sort of rule is if you're getting great material, there's a 95% chance that material is going to involve terrible things happening to the character. But we're going to dive into everything. Before we do, if you guys do like this discussion, remember to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. Let's just stay on Richard Webber, though, because I think there's a lot of things about this story that are hard. One of them is obviously, like you just said, seeing a character behave this way.
Yeah, that scene with Meredith and he's holding the scalpel, it was brutal. It was heartbreaking. It was really, really hard to wrap my head around, and bravo to both of them for those performances, because both of them were outstanding in this scene. This scene to me was the whole meat of this episode. It just, like I said, it just wrecked me.
I think the more you put Ellen and James in scenes together, it's sort of like, okay, these two have known each other and worked together for more than a decade and a half. That is like so much material you can just dive into, and there aren't a lot of other, actor pairs on TV who you can do that with anymore.
Yeah, when she was just telling him, I still have so much more to learn from you.
Yeah.
She was killing me.
What got me the worst was when he then called her Ellis, and it was like, oh, no, don't do this to me now, Grace. We're so close to the end of the season. I've tried to keep it together. You already done went and made me so mad over Alex. It's the other part of this that's obviously very hard is that we don't actually know what's wrong with Richard, and no one seems to.
No. They touch a little bit on the preview, but like you said, we'll have a preview for you coming up shortly, and we'll dive more into some of that.
But I think Deluca being like the secret weapon who is just like in a lounge somewhere.
Yeah, he's like hiding out in the library, doing work, and just walking in. Hey, how's it going? Oh, good. What do you got for me? Oh, all of this. It's just like the last time we saw him, he was just riding into the unknown on a motorcycle. And now all of a sudden he's like, hey, yeah, now I'm reading this book.
I didn't think we were going to see him again. I thought that was going to be it for Deluca this season because they kept filming short. I thought we were just going to see him go off into the sunset.
Yeah, no, it was... They're definitely trying to kind of play this manic idea. I still am not 100% on it. I mean, there's definitely something going on. But so far, the only people that have diagnosed him are people who are not people that would be actually being able to sit down with him and go through everything and diagnose him. Yeah. I want a real diagnosis from somebody who's actually like monitoring him and going into it and figuring out what's wrong.
Also someone who's not just judging him because of his father, and I think a lot of that is sort of still happening here. I mean, Deluca may be an X factor in all of it, but we have to kind of wait and see a little bit on that. But I think everyone around Richard, I think, is going to be struggling with this in one way or another. I mean, we see Catherine. It's nice, by the way, that in his 5 seconds of screen time in this episode, Jackson is careful enough to remind Catherine, oh yeah, by the way, remember when you basically took the entire hospital away from Richard?
Yeah, and ruined his life. You owe him.
Yeah, it's like...
And I know she wants to be there for him. Clearly she wants to be there for him. Even when he was talking about his hallucination and she was just like, you're right, I was there. And it was great. And gave him a kiss. I was like, yes, this is the way that you need to kind of go about it right now to be able to get him to agree to testing and figure out what's wrong. I knew she was going to step up. I mean, medical emergencies like this and traumatic things that are happening bring people back together again. I'm not saying that they're going to get together again, but there's so much love still there. I know everybody's pissed and the two of them are pissed, but there's still a lot of love there, and it really showed in that scene with him.
Catherine and Richard, they are not contractually allowed to have like 5 months where nothing terrible happens between the two of them. It's either she's got a medical crisis, he's got a medical crisis, they're fighting, she's stealing his hospital. There's always something bad that is going on. But, you know, of course, because this is Grey's Anatomy, we can't just focus on Richard being miserable. We also, hey, here's Tom Karasik. Let's bring back up the most devastating thing that's ever happened to him, and then make him be in a position where he has to operate on someone who looks just like his son.
Oh my God. This episode was something else. Watching Tom go through that and then having to actually go through that operation. I do have to say that it was really nice to see Teddy up there and talk her, help talk him through that. I mean, I knew it was obviously coming. She was there. It was something we all saw a million miles away, but it was still played out in a way that I really enjoyed seeing that. I mean, I do like this chemistry a lot, and it was kind of even crazy because I was thinking like, okay, so we had last week everything that happened with Teddy and sort of her realization that she's like, oh, you can love two people, and oh, I might be in this situation. I thought then when she came back, she was gonna maybe try to find a way to take some time to really deal with this. Instead, nope, everything that happened with Tom, it sort of feels like it pushed her into this spot where now she's like, oh, and we need to get married immediately. Like, I don't care about the cake anymore. I don't care about anybody being there. Let's just go and get married on the weekend.
Teddy,
like, take a minute, man. Like, that is not going to change anything. Having that piece of paper will not take away your feelings for Tom. I promise you, Teddy, it won't.
Teddy is really trying hard to be in the running here for messiest Grey's Anatomy character ever. She's just like, no, Izzy, I got this. And she is like going a million miles an hour with just all of the just ridiculousness. And I mean, there's a part of it that I guess is entertaining, but at this other time, it's also like, Teddy, come on. We've already, we have all roasted Owen for the better part of years for being a total hot mess all of the time. We can now not praise you for doing something just as messy.
Yeah, and it's not nice. That's the other kind of crappy thing about it. I mean, she is clearly has these feelings for Tom. It's not over. She's been fooling around with him. You can't then just be like, let's rush through and get married. That doesn't make anything better.
No, it's not. I think she just thinks now she's in the spot. Oh, if I just marry Owen, it'll all go away.
Yeah, or like, I'll just make a choice and I will stick with my choice. That doesn't work either.
Yeah, this is not going away. This is not going to go away easily, especially now. You've just helped Tom in a moment of like extreme vulnerability for Tom. And by the way, this is why I like Tom. I don't enjoy Tom as much when he's like berating Owen and like trying to enact revenge on him. It's like, I already know Karasik can be a jerk. I like seeing vulnerable Tom.
I really like Tom.
Yeah, Tom's great.
One of the things that I like about him, of why I like him so much with Teddy, and I'm not saying that I don't like Teddy and Owen, there are things about them I like as well, but the thing that I like is that Teddy brings this side out of him, the side that's more vulnerable, the side that'll have a snowball fight, the side that will smile, the side that's just a little more open to life.
It feels, like before this Tom and Teddy thing happened, Tom was just sort of like a a shell who just wandered around the hospital and sort of talked about how awesome he was all the time.
Yeah, and we get to see through this other window whenever Teddy's around. So she just goes and marries Owen. That window is closed.
We're gonna have to really debate in the preview who we think she's actually gonna end up with here, because this is, if you did not think we were in mess territory before, just you wait.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
And, you know, amidst everything else here, because it seems like Tom is going to get some sort of reprieve from having to do this surgery, Amelia then thinks that her water is breaking and she's about to give birth.
That was so cute in so many different ways, because it was sort of like a false labor, but it was very, like, it was nice to have that little window into sort of seeing how they're gonna kind of deal with it together, and it went okay. I mean, it was just a practice run, but they figured it out, and this is the type of material I was hoping for by having Link be the dad, so I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, they're giving us, like, actual levity in an episode that is just full of, like, doom and terribleness elsewhere.
Yeah.
It was valuable, and there's a lot of things I liked about it. Like, I enjoyed the Link and Joe conversation where she was making fun of him.
Yeah, and he's all like, "Are you replacing me?"
Yeah, like, that was all really funny. Him freaking out with Amelia was funny. I think
And that conversation with Owen in the surgery where Owen's just like, "Oh, I'll lay it out for you. You're going to be in fear for the rest of your life and you will never sleep again."
It is like, you know, Owen, you're probably correct, but
He's correct.
he's also laying it out. Yeah, I thought the Amelia stuff was fun. I think this episode, it needs a little bit of stuff like that. And
This episode really needed that. Otherwise, this would be a very different video where I would probably just be crying on it. And, you know, nobody wants to watch that.
the thing with Grey's Anatomy this season is it'll pull out all these sort of really beautiful things, but then you're left raising and wondering all these other questions. Like, for example, where is Maggie? Like, we just had this big storyline with her where she meets this guy, maybe it's going to turn into something more, and then just not around, really.
Yeah, I mean, she's around a little bit and kind of doing some of these tests and stuff like that, but I thought, too, that she was going to be, like, way, way, way more involved in this, and it was really just a little bit.
It was kind of small. It just wasn't, she wasn't around anywhere near as much as I thought.
Yeah.
But I think overall this episode is pretty successful.
Very good episode. Hard episode. Very good.
It gives us a lot of big twists, a lot of reasons for drama and sadness, but we will lay out some predictions and stuff in the preview, so stay tuned for all of that. For now, though, let us know what you thought about Grey's Anatomy Season 16, Episode 20 in the comments. And if you guys did like this video, remember to give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the store. Link pun not intended. And
Lies.
we will see, yes, it was. And we will see you here next time.